Hola amigos, this is Level 12, and today we are going to be talking about how I believe Denmark and Prussia are basically the same character, and also just why I like Prussia more. So we can't talk about these two without acknowledging the awesome trio, and for those of you that don't know what that is, it's not canon necessarily, but it's America, Denmark, and Prussia are the awesome trio because they believe themselves to be awesome and cool and rad and all of that jazz. They have the same kind of demeanor and ideas about themselves, and so they get clumped together in this idea of the awesome trio. It's not canon like, Prussia, France, and Spain are a canon trio together, or like a canon trio like Germany, Italy, and Japan are a canon trio. It's not like that. It's just like fans have grouped these characters together due to their similar haughtiness about themselves. But we're just gonna ignore America for a second. He gets kind of a pass on this idea because he's a main character and he's like by default is a lot more fleshed out because he has main character status. Denmark and Prussia, on the other hand, are two side characters that are very similar. And Hema has this problem because he doesn't flesh out his side characters enough. It's a lot of fans that flesh out the characters for him, and people just run with it, but I digress. So, how are they similar? Well, they're both older brothers. Denmark is the older brother of Sweden, and then Prussia is the older brother of Germany. They both have like a superiority complex. They both got to be like the big man on campus, the what have you, They're also both very loud and annoying. Like, I say that lovingly to Prussia. To Denmark, I say it as a scornful remark. Because Denmark he has no reason to be. And we'll get into this in a second, but he only ever hangs out with the same 5 characters. Prussia is all up and down the map with his annoyingness. Now, he does mostly just hang out with Germany, Hungary, and Austria, but we see him interact with so many more characters. They're also obsessed with being the best, the number one, the greatest. And this was mostly shown in their youth. In their past, they both kinda have grown from that. Denmark has mellowed out a little bit, Prussia has mellowed out a little bit, but neither of them have mellowed out of it to the point of being, they're like old nations in comparison to like America and Canada. So like, just imagine, even Germany, just imagine them being the old men still trying to relive their glory days. I mean, they don't look old, but you gotta remember how old Prussia is and how old like Scandinavia is and all of those areas that they look young and they act youthful, but they're old. Like, just keep in the back of your mind, they're kind of old. And I can already hear the comments being like, but you like Prussia. Prussia is Denmark, so why do you hate Denmark? And it's as I said earlier, Denmark only hangs out with a specific group of characters, and I only like 2 of them, and that's Finland and Sweden. And it's just, it's so annoying. Denmark is annoying, except he's only annoying to a certain group of characters that have already... We've seen their interactions. We know how they interact together. I want to see Denmark interacting with, like, Germany and Japan, and, like, I want to see Denmark out of his little Nordic bubble, because I have very few memories of the Nordics interacting with characters other than other Nordics, except for, like, Finland and Estonia and Sweden and Estonia and Latvia and those characters. Like, I specifically remember that episode, but in terms of Denmark interacting with characters that are not other Nordics, I don't have any memory of that except for Belarus at the Halloween costume party 2010, 2012 thing. Something like that, when the art style changed. I remember that instant and then nothing else. It was dead silent. Prussia, on the other hand, interacts with a lot of characters. He interacts with the Baltics. He interacts with Russia, or claimed interactions. No, he does actually meet Russia in canon. There's like episodes of it. He interacts with like America and the Axis powers and the Allies. Like, Prussia has so much like wiggle room that his personality is more forward. If Denmark had not more personality, because I think he has an interesting character dynamic. If I were to pinpoint a villain in Hitalia, which that is a video in the works, by the way, don't know when it's gonna come out, but it's been rattling around in my mind. Denmark would be a contender because he has that history and he has the accent, he has the style and the personality, and he could very easily make that work for me to be a likable character to me. except he only hangs out with the same, like, 5 people, and it's just, I don't care about those interactions anymore. It's getting dull and boring, and give me something more, Hema. I don't think we're gonna get that, but, you know, I can always dream. And I just like Prussia more because he also has just a tad bit more depth. He's not just loud and annoying. He has his softer side where he wants to be alone and he cleans, and he's, you know, his mellow side. And Denmark has that too, but he always has that air of maniacal, if I, to use a phrase. And it's just, I like Prussia so much better. Even though they are very similar characters, just Prussia has just that edge. And I think it's a really, if I wanted to, I could do a really good character study on how they have very similar personalities and actions and even histories to a certain extent, but it's the way that, like, it's who they interact with and those tiny things that make Prussia just a little bit more interesting to me and more likable. And then Denmark is just Denmark. What else can I say? He's Denmark! Anyways, I hope you guys like this video. It is No Nuance November, which I think basically means you can say a controversial opinion and not give, like, any context to it or any evidence. I was gonna do that with this, but I'm like, people are just gonna be like, you're just making stuff up at this point, and, like, I'm not. I have reasons why I think my things, but, you know, whatever. I don't have enough nuanced opinions, I guess, to make a video like that. I'll link one below, though. It's by Ghost the Dog. I liked it. Anyways, thank you for watching. Like and subscribe for more random fandom things. Ciao, chicos.